Welcome back, everybody. I know it sounded like a little bit of a commercial. Maybe it was, but he is just a very, Aaron Scott Young, that's my partner on the show we call Start a Biz. Aaron, I've known David like 20 years. 20 years ago, when you and I were just getting out of junior high school, this guy...
Junior high school, yeah, just kids.
Yeah, we were kids. This guy was a head of marketing. I remember he would come to my office and he would show me these presentations. He was a marketeer long before he ever became a salesperson, and I was fascinated. Marketing is here's my take on marketing. Listening to the show we call Start a Biz, Aaron Scott Young and the coach here, heard all over the country, and you can also download the app. It's a great app. Go into the App Store, and you can take us with you while you're waiting at the train station this holiday, or take us with you when you're at the airport. The app is it's KHTS 1220 AM in the App Store. And our podcasts are on the show Start a Biz Radio Network, Start a Biz Radio Network. So you can listen to our podcast. And I guarantee you, if you listen to us every week, I promise you this, you will do better in your life, because in the next several months, we're bringing on the top people in the country in their expertise. So you're going to learn about how they climb their mountain, and you're going to hear stories that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. So today we're going to talk about selling versus marketing. So if you own a business or you're starting a business, Aaron, here's my question to you. Do you want to be a marketeer or a salesperson? But let me give you my explanation of marketing versus selling. Then I want to hear yours, and then we'll get into it. So my explanation of marketing is that you create a culture in which people want to do business with you. By marketing yourself or branding yourself, you create a culture where people say, you know what, I want to do business with Aaron Scott Young. I want to do business with a coach, because whatever we're doing affects them emotionally. So that's my take.
Well, I think from my perspective, you're mixing things a little bit, because I think creating that culture is part of the brand. The brand is, do I love Apple computers because I've bought into Apple, just do it differently, think differently, do it more elegantly, versus, I want a Chevy truck versus a Ford truck found on the road dead, I mean, you've got to decide on how the brand speaks to you, how you relate to it. Marketing, to me, is letting people know that the brand exists, and finding interesting and captivating ways to get in front of the market. And then sales, people are kind of, I think, confused on what sales is. Because sales, some people think it's slimy, some people think it's hard closing, some people think, I'm no good at sales, I could never be good at sales, I'm afraid to ask for the money, whatever it is. Here's the deal. Sales is really, really simple. Sales is simply a transfer of confidence. So I know that I believe in what I'm doing, and I help you come to that same level of confidence, then you'll want to take what I've got. People make sales into this difficult or dirty word, when all it is transferring confidence from
all right. Well, I got to challenge you on this, pal. I mean, I love you to death. I got to get into it. I got to share something with you. But before I do, I want to. If you're listening to the show and you own a business, first of all, we're honored that you would take your time to listen. I know a number of people listen on hometownstation.com while they're at lunch, and I know people listen to our show in the car while they have lunch, because you email me and text me and Facebook me. So thank you for doing that. And if you own a business or you're starting a business, don't do it without a company called Laughlin USA. Laughlin USA. They provide the documents that you need if you're going to be a partnership or a corporation or an LLC or so much more that they do. Go to their website, laughlinusa.com. Do not run your business without them. At some point in your life, you will need Laughlin USA. All right, so I've been in sales my entire life. I mean, since I'm like 12, 13, 14 years old. And, when in my 20s and 30s, when I used to go to a lot of parties and gatherings, and people would say, oh, what do you do, Coach? I'm in sales. Oh, have a nice day. They're heading towards the chips and the dip, and they're avoiding me like the plague. And then as I got a little older, people said, well, Coach, what do you do? I said, well, I'm an architect. Remember Seinfeld, George, on Seinfeld? You wanted to be an architect. So I was an architect, or I was a brain surgeon. I'd make up these stories. I was a quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, nobody ever likes salespeople. And today, when I get approached by, look, you go into a store, what's the first thing a salesperson says? Can I help you? What's the first thing you say? No, I'm good, thank you. And you turn your back. Yeah. So
just browsing.
Yeah,
but that's because that's not a real salesperson, though. That's somebody who's got a sales job, but they don't understand. A salesperson is not the reason. Salespeople are the highest paid people in the world.
Don't disagree with that.
If you talk to Trump, he'll tell you he's a sales guy. He'll talk about it's negotiating. It's all about closing deals, and that's sales. I'll tell you that if somebody walks up and says, "Can I help you?" then you're going to automatically, grab your wallet and move away. But if they come up and say, what are you looking for, or what brought you in today? They're not going to say, oh, I just was, I got blown in by the wind. People say, oh, I'm looking for TV. I'm just going to poke around for a minute. Yeah. What do you like to watch?
Well, time out. Let's ask this millennial. We have an audience here. You can listen to the audience.
Are you going to the Jelly Man? What are you doing?
Yeah. So, Justin, you're a millennial, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. What do you think of salespeople? Be honest. Or you're not going to heaven. If you're not honest, you're not going to heaven.
I cannot stand salespeople.
Why?
Exactly what Aaron is explaining to us. You have that grimy, dirty feeling whenever you feel like you are being sold something. You feel like you can't really trust these people because what they want from you is one thing and one thing only, which is your business, your money.
Your money. So, Aaron, honest young man, he is going to heaven now. How does one learn how to sell or create what I think, and you disagree with me a little bit, I like to create a culture. So my style of selling has changed over the years, where I go very, very slow, and it's like David Bartel said a few minutes ago, I'm interested in what you want. When I was younger, I was more interested in what I want, but today, what can I do to make your life better? That's why you and I do this show on Start a Biz. Maybe a word, a phrase, one idea today might help somebody over their little challenge or hurdle. But back to what Justin said, Aaron, how would you coach up a salesperson, or would you start with marketing first or teach them how to sell first?
Well, it depends on if you're a brand new business, you better figure out how to sell first, because if nothing gets sold, you don't have any money to spend on marketing. But let's go back to what Kyle just said.
Justin.
And what you just, or did I say Justin? I'm sorry. I've got Kyle's the manager, and I've got Jelly Man in my brain. So
Kyle's the big mucky muck boss. I mean, he's the guy that walks around.
He's the suit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's definitely the suit dude.
Yeah. We won't. Let's just try to not get him involved with what we're doing here.
No, keep him out of it.
The point is this. You just went and said, well, I like to create a culture. I like to go real slow. I want to figure out what's in it for, what's going to help you. Okay, so that's fine, but that is your style of sales. You've found a way, just like David Bartel's found a way to shift the focus from the salesperson who's trying to get in your pocket to the consumer who just wants to get something accomplished. They want to sell a house. They want to buy a couch. They want to, they want to go on a cruise. They want to do something. They want to buy advertising on a radio station. The point is, when we focus on ourselves, we will almost never have success. When we focus on the money, we will almost never succeed. But when we focus on how do I help this person get what they want for their business, then all of a sudden they're very willing to pay for that. And so I think that's just what you said. Your culture, you're going slow, you're figuring out, well, what do they want, is the way everybody that's listening and everybody that listens to the podcast, they ought to be thinking, what's in it for the client? What's in it for the buyer? Not what's in it for the seller. People can spot somebody who's greedy a mile away and they'll be repulsed. So let's just get clear. Make it about how you solve a problem for somebody, not how you get into their wallet.
Listening to the show we call Start a Biz. We do this show because I think, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, if you listen every week, I promise you it's going to like a college master's class. We are bringing the best in America, all over America, experts, people who have accomplished a tremendous amount of success in their fields. And this is how you learn. I mean, you can learn more listening to our show than you can do anything else during the week. I promise you. Just tune in every Thursday at 1 o'clock, Tuesdays at 2, and then on the weekends we're all over the place. All right, so, Aaron, I hate to agree with you, but I think your point is well. No, I hate to agree with you. I think your point's well taken. And let's shift over to marketing for a second. So,
sure,
the big boys are dominating television. Here's my question: if you're a small business owner like Justin, you and I are going to own an ice cream shop. No, that's Kyle and I guess we're going to start an ice cream shop. You and I haven't figured out what we're going to do yet. So,
ice cream store. I'm ready to come visit it. Are you kidding?
No, Kyle and I are literally going into business with an ice cream store. No, and it's ice cream. It's not anything else. It's not yogurt. It's ice cream. But here's my question, Aaron Scott Young. We don't have billions to spend on television. We're not, Pepsi or Coke or the Geico commercial. Nope. These guys are spending hundreds. How does a small business owner get his message out today?
Yeah, that's a good question. I coach lots of people and I speak and teach. Here's what I teach people all the time because, almost all the businesses in the United States are small businesses. Like 93% of them have less than 10 employees. And and you can't compete with those big iconic companies like Coke and Pepsi and Geico. What you can do is figure out what you're super good at. Figure out what you're get really, really, really narrow in your niche, and then say, "This is what I am," and then tell that story. Blog about it, Google about it, Facebook about it. Let people know that in the area of understanding the 3 best flavors of ice cream that can be generated from the best dairies in the locally sourced milk and whatever pure cane sugar, and we do this and we only do artisan flavors, and you get real specific, you're going to suck people right into your ice cream store because they're going to want the experience. There's nothing wrong with 31 flavors. There's nothing wrong with going to the grocery store and buying a pint of ice cream for yourself. The truth is, people want an experience. They want to feel good. If it's unpacking the Apple box, from Apple Computer, or it's being able to send stuff back and forth with Zappos, or whatever it is, people want to feel known and they want to feel like they're part of the same tribe. So the more narrow you niche down who you're looking for, the bigger you become, the more of an icon you become. That's how you do it.
And then, and you're mentioning social media because if you can get a cast or you can get people to talk about you, just like you said, I like the word experience. So if their experience was so good, they may go on Facebook and share it. Typically, they still share it in person to the 5 intimate people they know, and that's the key. If you can get people talking about you and getting involved in your community while they're doing that, and I like what you said also about the narrow niche, then you have a chance, at least in your own community, to be a big fish in a small pond. Right? Wrong?
No, it's exactly right. But it doesn't have to just be in your community. If you're selling something on a national level, but you don't have a national budget to do that, then you've got to be particularly good at really clearly articulating what it is you want to promote, what you want to sell, who you are, and why you're valuable. Because then you become a superstar in your narrow niche. But the cool thing about a company or a country of 350 million people, or a global world of 7 billion people, somebody's looking for exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
And the more homogenous you are, the worse you'll do. The more specific you are, the better you'll do.
Well said. You're listening to Aaron Scott Young and the coach on a show we call Start a Biz, and everybody's talking about our show, and we get asked the question, why Start a Biz? Well, it's a catchy little name. we're trying to help people who have a mature business, a business that they just opened up, or you may be wanting to start a business, because at all these different levels, ladies and gentlemen, you have different issues, you have different problems. I have an expertise on the internet, so one of the great ways to start a business really inexpensively is to get on the internet. I mean, we can build a great website for you. I don't build websites, but I can refer you to the best guy in town, Josh Bernstein, that builds great websites inexpensively. Go to my site, check it out, CoachTunick.com, or go look at Aaron Scott Young's website. His site is a big boy site. Now, he spent $100,000 on that site. No, I'm just kidding, but that's a nice site you have. No, that is a really nice site. Aaron Scott Young's a nice site. So
I'm so glad you like it.
So starting an internet business, I think next week that'll be our opening segment. Starting an internet business is really a combination of doing what you just said, explaining why your product or your service, giving like a little history or a reason why they should do business with you, and then you bring in the marketing part, which is what? All of the social media, right?
Well, it's all that, but it's not just why they should do business with you. It's what is it that you stand for? Like, I'm specifically. Can I give you an example?
Sure. Absolutely.
There's a guy that I know up in a little dinky town called Choteau, Montana, and he's a working cowboy. He's got a cattle ranch. And but you can't make much money cowboying, even if you own the property. And so he's missing like parts of different fingers and stuff. And he's given it all to his cowboy career. But when it's cold and snowing and so on up there, he's got a workshop on the ranch, and he's making shaps and chinks and holsters and all kinds of leather work, right? All kinds of different leather stuff that's for cowboys, and it's also for city slickers who want to have that Montana cowboy feel. And he's a little small guy. He's just got his little shop. He also brings in these hats, these kind of a straw hat that they get from South America, and he sells those. He's an agent for those, and he's got the. But what he's done is he's used photographs of him working cows, working in the shop, being out there in the snow with the animals, and with his hat pulled down, his wild rag around his neck, and he creates this feeling. And you go, I'd rather buy my chaps from him than from some, feed store in my town, some Western wear place, because maybe somehow the Montana cowboy spirit will rub off on me a little bit while I'm out riding my horse on the weekend. He doesn't have a big budget. What he's done is, as you talked about at the beginning, he's created a feel. He's created it's a brand. He's created an environment that makes him fascinating to people who are fascinated by that kind of lifestyle. It's not going to be appealing to somebody that rides English style on a horse. It's not going to apply to somebody who's a rodeo, cowboy or somebody who's whatever. He's looking at the whole market, and he's saying, "How can I get real narrow?"
That's a great. And there was so much in that little 2-minute story. If you're listening to our show called Start a Biz, there was a lot. Even Justin head is bobbing up and down like a Peyton Manning bobblehead doll. Great little story. We're going to come right back. Aaron Scott Young and I are going to finish up the show with something that is rarely ever discussed in. We're not going to be a little politically correct when we come back. We're going to talk about something that might just irritate some of you. We'll be right back on the show we call Start a Biz on 1220 AM, one of the best radio stations in America, and I'm not kidding. I'm serious. Don't start your business without Aaron Scott Young and the coach. CoachTunick.com or AaronScottYoung.com. And don't forget, if you're running a business right now and you need documents, it's called Laughlin USA. They've got all the documents you need. If you're going to form a new partnership, a corporation, an LLC, they've got so much stuff on their website. And I've known these people. They've been in business 44 years. 44 years. Laughlin, USA.com, LaughlinUSA.com. So if you listen to our show, ladies and gentlemen, look, you can go to USC and spend $100,000 a year, Justin, in education. If you listen to our show, that last segment, that last 2 minutes, there was more in that story than a month at going to USC or the University of Notre Dame or my school, University of Oregon. All right, so Aaron, I got to say something to you, pal. This political correctness in life is gone so out of whack, and I think it's out of whack.
What are you talking about?
Here's what I'm talking about. I say if you own a business or in business or you're in sales or marketing, I don't care what you're doing, be authentic. Be yourself. Yourself is good enough. If you want to be yourself, get smarter. Listening to Start a Biz radio network, you're going to get smarter. But being politically correct, trying to be everybody's friend, it doesn't work in business.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, I have a couple thoughts on that little topic. First one is, I think you're right. Be authentic. But here's the point. There's so many freaking jerks out there who start a business, and they think it's fine to diminish women or diminish somebody who doesn't look like them, or they're just kind of jerks. If it's different than them, they don't like it. So you have to find a sweet spot. I'll tell you what, one of the smartest guys I ever met said, if you want to get rid of bigotry of any sort in the world, have a really good friend who doesn't look like you. And that's me. I don't look like you. You don't look like me at all. No. That's why we can get along. But you know what? You don't this bogusness of we have to say happy holidays, or we have to not be. We have to give up one set of traditions to make sure we don't hurt somebody else's feelings. I don't like that. But I do say that if you're going to be yourself, make sure you're the very best form of yourself. And don't just say, hey, it's my shop, it's my store, it's my way or the highway, because I'll tell you what, that's the best way to shut down a biz. That's the best way to lose customers.
I like
to
that.
Be a jerk.
I like that. And we're running out of time, but I think next week it might be a discussion point to talk about how do businesses approach the holidays. Write that down. I know you take copious notes when we're doing the show, but I think that's a good topic next week to talk about how businesses approach. Should a business owner say goodbye to his customer by saying, have a happy holiday or Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah or Happy Kwanzaa or whatever. But I like what you said. I think just, you're better off having an open heart. You're better off because we're all the same, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let the color of their skin or how their hair looks or how they dress. We look, when there's a crisis in this country, it's amazing, Aaron. We all seem to come together. We all seem to be patriots. We all seem to love this country. Why can't we have this kind of demeanor every day with everybody? We only have about 30 seconds. That's how I try to approach. I love everybody. I care about everybody.
There are a lot of people right now with a Facebook photo that's got the red, white, and blue of the French flag on it right now. Everybody wants to fall behind what's happened with the French because it was such a tragedy. They didn't say what party did it or whatever.
Right.
Dr. Ben Carson, whether or not you like him as a presidential candidate, says when he looks at a brain, he doesn't see black, white, Mexican. It's just a person. So let's get past superficial and let's get down to caring about our people and about our customers. That's the greatest way you'll find success in everything you do in your life.
Love you, brother. Have a great afternoon. It's the coach. It's Aaron Scott Young on Start a Biz. We'll see you in a couple of days.